Thank you so much. Please, can someone confirm they can see me and hear me, please?
Very well. Clear. The pictures are clear. We are hearing you very clear, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much. Good day, everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to be in your midst today, and I really don't take this opportunity for granted. I'm going to start today by giving the HSC sectoral group made me fit to be coming to give this presentation to you today. I really don't take that for granted. Like I said, I appreciate that opportunity. Okay, my name is Omolara Ibikunle. I'm the Health, Safety, and Environment Manager for Schlumberger Nigeria. And today I'm going to be talking on the topic that I've titled Occupational Health Hazards and Prevention in Oil Servicing Industry. I'm sure we're all aware Schlumberger Technical Services is an oil servicing company. So I'm driving this home to my own type of industry. Also today, the outline I'll be following is I'll start with the introduction. I'm being told very well that we'd like it to be practical and not generic. But believe me, we cannot go practical without at least touching the surface on the generic subject of key principles of health and safety. So I'll take us through the generic key principles of health and safety. Then we'll go straight into the different chemical exposures in oil servicing company, while I'll take us through how we ensure our employee safety in Schlumberger and some case studies while I conclude the presentation. So starting the presentation today. So thank you. I appreciate the honor of allowing me to introduce myself. I believe nobody knows me like I know myself, right? So introducing myself, I finished from University of Ibadan. I'm a graduate of Industrial and Production Engineering with second class honors, upper division in 2006. Formed my youth core service at Ericsson Nigeria Limited as asset commissioning engineer. And shortly 3 months after I finished my NYSC, I joined Schlumberger International. My first assignment was to Angola. So I joined Schlumberger as sand management services field engineer. In fact, I started from, so sand management services has two sections. There's a section called tools, there's a section called pumping. So I started in the tools aspect in Angola. I grew up in the space of 2 years to become a lead engineer in one of the BP Block 18 deepwater wells in Angola. And from there, I moved to Chad to continue the SMS part of the pumping engineer, which I was part of the crew that performed Exxon Mobil sand control projects. I did that for a space of about 2 years as well. And from there, I moved back to my beloved country to become the, excuse me. Sorry. So I moved back to my country to took up the role of technical sales engineer. So this is the role where all the technical and the field exposure I've had in Angola and Chad, I was able to use it to sell our equipment to the oil producing companies. And in the space of 2.5 years, I was recognized for some of the key projects I was able to win from my company. And from there, I was able to given the opportunity to take up the role of sand management services, career staffing and knowledge delivery manager for the whole of Schlumberger worldwide for SMS. So that was an HR role. I performed that role. And from there, I did people planning and productivity lead for all our projects globally. And I was in US in the space of 4 years for these two roles. And from there, I came back home again to take up the role of product and service delivery manager for Sub-Saharan Africa for our midstream side of the business. I performed this role till December 2019, when I now had the opportunity to take up the role of health, safety, and environment manager for Nigeria. So as you can look into my portfolio, I started in the field, engineer, technical sales, HR, I did operation management, now HSC. In fact, some of my friends, you make jest of me that it looks like my profile looks like a CEO profile. Well, hopefully maybe one day I'll be one. But this is the journey so far I've had in the 13 years in the oil and gas industry. And also in 2011, I became a member of Project Management Professional. Since then, I've been an active member of this professional group. So this is me. And from now going forward, let me take us through to the presentation itself. So back to our business of today, which is the health and safety at work. Introduction of it is the significance of safety and health in all servicing industry has been a vital issue in achieving productivity and an edge in the competitive world. And what do I mean by that? The cost of safety in oil and gas industry is huge. It ranges from thousands of dollars to billions of dollars. So oil producing firms do not take this for granted, and they do not take it with levity, which means that if you are a safe company with good safety records, it gives you an edge over others in winning contracts. And of course, winning contract means you have more job to do, you are more productive, and your company will strive better. So this is really key. When it comes to oil and gas industry, safety is one of the key positions. I'm not saying this because I'm the HSC manager. You can define this. Safety is key because work should not hurt. That is our motive. Work should not hurt anybody. In Schlumberger, there's something we call Schlumberger safe. And this is what I'm going to end my presentation with, what we mean by being Schlumberger safe. So now going to the generic of the principle of health and safety. Employer is responsible for maintaining a safe and healthy workplace. We must make our workplace safe for our employees. And we cannot just do this alone. We have to make sure employees are involved in developing these policies and programs and implementing them. They must be a key stakeholder for it to work. There should be no sanction on any employee for health and safety related activities. They should be free to express themselves when it comes to safety. And lastly, on this, employers should implement best and most effective practices and policies to make sure they protect their workers from hazards. These are the key principles, they are basic principles that we must all obey. For oil and gas servicing company, it's a must, and from any striving company, this is the basic principle that must be obeyed. And why are we trying to obey these health and safety principles? It's because we're exposed to various hazards in the oil and service industry. But I'm going to streamline it today. I know this is the HSC sector of the chemical engineering, Nigeria Society of Chemical Engineers. So I'm going to streamline it to the different chemical exposures we have in oil servicing company. This is just a few of them. There are more, but these are the ones that I'm fully aware of and some of the key ones that we experience in the country Nigeria today. Our employees are exposed to drilling fluids, additives, cement mixtures, acids. I'm talking of raw acids, oxidizers, emulsifiers, gravel pack. There's a fluid, a carrier fluid for our gravel pack and fracturing fluid in some management, cement mixtures, the hydrocarbon gases and vapors. These are some of the chemicals we are fully exposed to in our industry. And as we are exposing our employees to this, we have to put in measures in place to make sure that they are safe. And talking of that, one of the key places we must start from is information about the chemical hazards. It must be conveyed properly to the employee that's going to be handling them. And talking of this, we must have a label that have quick visual notation to alert the users on the type of hazard they are dealing with. Whether these chemicals are really dangerous or they're just some warning signs, we must have labels that have a quick visual of this. The label must be able to provide immediate recognition of the hazards. That you even mere looking at that visual label, you must be able to know that. And the workers must be able to know the specific hazardous chemicals. They must be able to recognize all that. And to know this, right, with labels is important that this label has it, but to have the detail of it, you must have the material safety data sheet that must accompany every hazardous chemical. So I'm going to take us through the details that which we make sure our employees must be familiar with this MSDS, because this is where they will know the details regarding the hazardous chemicals they are dealing with. It's something we promote so much, because if they are not familiar with this, it can result to explosion. It can result to a lot of form of hazards. And talking of a lot of hazards, it's one of the ones that is key to us, because our employee well-being, it's really key to us in our operation, is health hazards. Some of these chemicals they carries with them some health hazards. And hazards from respirational to skin sensitizers, skin dermatitis, some of these chemicals can affect some target internal organs and reproductive hazards. Talking of this, I know this may not be fully chemical, but it's still a very key hazard in our operation, radioactive sources. Imagine someone that is pregnant and dealing with radioactive sources. Even though there's a dosage of it, we monitor this, we make sure it's what the ministry and all the organizations have approved as a minimal exposure that the employee is exposed to, but still, we still don't encourage this for anyone, a pregnant person. I'll go through that details when you're talking about medical fitness, and some of these things are carcinogenic that can turn to cancer later in future. So it's really key to know that these chemicals exist, and these are some of the health hazards accompanying them. And talking about that, our employee must be able to recognize this chemical health effect, and they should know what to look out for. If you're an employee and you're seeing symptoms that appear while you're at work, you only feel the symptoms when you're at work, you don't feel it at home. Or probably whatever you are feeling as a symptom, your fellow employees too are feeling the same thing. Then that's the sign that you are probably exposed to the same environment that's hazardous in one chemical or the other. So you are being compromised one way or the other. We have to investigate properly. Believe me, I really don't like the picture I showed there, which is the skin burnt, but this is one of the very few hazard you're looking at when it comes to chemical hazard. It goes way beyond this in terms of the accident level. So please, it's something that we do not compromise when it comes to ensuring the safety of our employee. And now, it's good. We have known this hazard. We know the effects they have on their health system. But how do we, as a company, ensure the safety of our employees? There are tools we use. We have proven them over time. We're still improving them. They are not perfect. We're improving that system to make sure employees are safe. And one of the key ones is our management commitments. Top management involvement should be visible and have authority and resources to implement the program. All our top management have the authority and resources. And we ensure that they understand that safety and health is their responsibilities by giving them a key KPO, the key performance objective that's related to safety of our employees. One of their key KPO is not the revenue, it's the safety of our people. It's a key KPO for all our top managers. Employee involvement. I've talked about that because they must be involved in the program and in the policies so that they are already we are not just handing it over to them to do. We're involving them even when we are making some of these policies. We're involving them when we are bringing it a new one to implementation, so they are fully aware of it and they are buying into it right from onset. And of course, I mentioned earlier the MSDS, they must adhere to chemical MSDS and training of personnel. It's good to have a robust program, but if you don't train your people, they don't know. We have diverse employees in Schlumberger today. We have people from PhD holders, we have masters, we have degree holders, and we have contractors that even they're just school certificates. So we have to make sure we train our employees appropriately for whatever task they are doing. And not just training them, we provide yearly protective equipment. So every year we replace our employees' protective equipment. And we do not wait for a 1 year. If you have one that is defective, you can notify your manager to replace it. It's not a must that you must manage it for a whole year. No, but at least every year we make it an habit to replace it for them. And we reward safety. We reward safety for our people. And also we have a top-notch first aid facility. Some of these hazards are associated with chemicals in our facility. If they are not managed immediately, if an incident occur with a good first aider or first aid system, the severity will be more than what we're seeing today. I'm talking of the high wash station, even the shower station to quickly take off those chemicals from your body before you remove the PPEs. So we have a first aid. We make sure our facility is equipped with a top-notch first aid system. And also we have internal and external safety audits. We have what we call compliance assessment tool. We do safety audits of our policies yearly, so that we know where we're lagging to be able to rectify them. We do that both internally and externally. And again, and I mentioned this earlier, we do what we call yearly medical fitness check for all our employees. It is mandatory. We want to ensure you are fit for the job you are doing. This is not a tool to fire anyone. It's a tool to make sure you are doing the right job. If you are not fit for the field operation, then we'll get you for other tasks that are office-based. So we do this yearly fitness check. And talking about HSC focus, so we have monthly HSC focus on what we call one on our life-saving rules. What are life-saving rules? So this we have what we call Schlumberger nice life-saving rules. And it's not just Schlumberger, it's taken from the IOGP life-saving rule, the International Organization for Oil and Gas life-saving rules. And this, like I tell my team, a lot of our programs and policies, they are written by blood. They are from incidents. They are from life loss. As you can see, in 2008 to 2017, there are 376 people lost their lives in fatal incident that might have been prevented by following the IOGP life-saving rules. This is not Schlumberger, but this is in oil and gas worldwide. 376 lives. So these are where the rules are coming from. They're not rules just formulated by somebody that think they are smart. They are rules that are formulated from incident. And talking of that, we have the 9 life-saving rules where we always project in my company. They goes from bypassing safety controls, confined space, driving, energy isolation, which happens to be the one we are treating in this month of June, hot work, line of fire, safe mechanical lifting, work authorization, working at height. That is what that safety video showed us when we started working at height. That guy was working at height without safety harness, without, I'm very sure the risk was not assessed properly. So these are the 9 saving rules we focus on, and every month we pick one of them and focus on it in Nigeria. And the reason why we do it, we focus on it because that life saving rules has a standard, has a policy written for them. So we focus on them. We look into all our system, all our facility, and see where we're lagging to be able to rectify and make sure we are or we are 100% accurate in the implementation of these saving rules. And lastly, no matter how many measures we put in place, there's chances there might be 1 or 2 incidents here and there. We do not hide them. We make sure we have a system. I'm going to show us now the system where I'm going to show us in the next 2 slides where we report incidents, because we want all incidents properly investigated, even all near misses. They are not incident but near miss, which means if the situation changes slightly, it could result to an incident. So we make sure we investigate this properly and present up to upper management the remedial reward plan to make sure that this will not happen again, because we do not hide incidents when they happen. And talking about some of the tools we use to ensure the safety of our employees, a key one of them is hazard prevention and control. In fact, we actually call this chart I'm showing you hazard analysis and risk control record. Believe me, just like I said, this operation comes with its risk, the imminent risk. They are there. Like a typical one I'm showing here is for chemical mixing. The chemical is hazardous. The risk is there that it could cause eye or skin injury. That risk is that there could be a toxic release. But now, if you look at it on that risk, the likelihood is that yes, it can happen. And if it happens, it could result to a serious incident. And what does that mean is the risk level is undesirable and is unacceptable. We cannot proceed like this. And that's why we have this tool for us to put in control measures before we can proceed. Control measures of making sure that the employee is well trained for the task for that particular chemical. The employee has the right PPE for those chemicals. The employee is fully familiar with the mixing procedures and the MSDS of those chemicals. After you have making sure you've sat down, the team that will perform this task sat down, make sure that all these are available, they are sure it is implemented, then you look at it that yes, what's the likelihood that this will happen as an accident? It's unlikely. If it still happens, it's going to be serious, but it's very unlikely. And from there, we can say, yes, this is acceptable. We can move on. And not just putting this together, we launched recently what we call the visual hack. Apart from putting this together, which is wonderful and nice, we have this visual hack because, like I told you, we have contractors, we have people that just were school certificate holder. So this is why the visual hack It's very key because in visual hack, imagine even if you can't read properly, if you look at this visual hack, now you know what your PPE required is. You've seen the safety boot, you've seen the chemical jacket suit, you've seen the required PPE. You know that, okay, for this operation to go on, I must have my fire extinguisher close by. These are the way I must wear my PPE being shown. So this visual hack really helped. And talking of that, it's really, really helped. And one of the apart from having this act and helping all this, how do we really, really manage it? Because I cannot be everywhere the HSC manager. And I need to know what are these risks and make sure they are fully addressed. One of the main tools we're using today that is making us to address our hazard and be able to be incident free, which I'll show you our record in Nigeria till date, is what we call the Quest reporting system. Please, if you are not taking away anything away from this presentation, take away this tool. You can have your own develop. This is a tool, is a two-way communication tool. It's a tool that we use to record. As you can look at it, right? There's some hazard that we don't want you to look at it and go and report for me to look at. No, there's some hazard that can be addressed right there immediately. And that's why we have what we call the observation intervention report. You see someone doing something right, you know that this job required a fail sheet, the employee is not using fail sheet, you stop the operation. That yes, you cannot proceed, you need to have a face sheet. That's observation and intervention. So you're stopping that as at your situation from turning to an incident. Other thing we have is we encourage you to now, the ones that does not require you to intervene immediately, we encourage you to put hazardous reports in the system and action it to the right person. Like if you see an employee with an high Google and he said, oh, I've told my manager, he's not answering me. He said he doesn't have the budget to provide an high Google. Go and put it in the system. And please, this is not a system that is you can use to now chase people around or use it to. It's a system that is very objective. I think that's the word. It's not subjective. We're not telling us to go and say, I saw Omolara working without. No, I saw an employee. And you address it to the manager who has the power to correct that act. So this tool is very robust for us. We use it to describe the hazard. People's name must not be written. The rules are there. You must not put anybody's name, but put the request. And because for someone like me, that I'm the HSC manager, the first job I do every day is to open the Quest report and read all the reports in Nigeria. So from this system, it gets pushed into my inbox, all reports. If I need to read more details, then I click the link to open it from the main Quest system. So this tool is really good. I read all Quest reports, I action it to upper management, I followed up. So even if I'm not there, I know the risk at every of our facility. I know what we are targeting. So the next time I visit, I know what I'm auditing to check whether it has been fully corrected. And with technology advancements now, we're advancing the tool as well. We have an app for it. For people using Android phone or iPhone, we have an app for it for HSC Quest reporting so that they don't have to come into their system, open their laptop to put it. Just go on your phone, put the app and put the report right in there. So talking about the reports, right? So getting that report. So this, what I'm showing you here is a pyramid of our reporting in Nigeria from year to date. So what are we saying? You can see here I have about over 7,000 hazardous reports that people have put in. I actually took this from the system. I didn't remove the data or put it anywhere else. I screenshot the system. This is what we have. And as you can see, we have over 7,000 hazardous reports that's been corrected. And because we are reporting more hazardous reports, we're having less incidents. As you can see on our catastrophic, which means catastrophic is when somebody died, 0. Our major incidents, when somebody get amputated or lose a body, 0. Serious incidents where somebody won't be able to perform a task again or a work is 0 year to date. And I can tell you, I'll show you the graph for even from the time I took up this role, it's been 0. And our light incident this year, we had 2. I think one of them I remember is a water heater that in one of our residents that started getting burned because they didn't switch it off, and we're actually still investigating that incident. Just like I told you, we report it because we want to investigate and get to the root cause of that incident so that we put a remedial work plan to make it not to happen again. And so another tool we're using to ensure our employee safety is tracking of their overall training coefficient. Our employee must not at any point in time have less than 95% overall training coefficient. These are the training that generate to the tasks they are doing. The system have developed it. So if your name, the training attached to a job role. So it cannot go beyond 95%. This is how we make sure our employees are trained so that we don't get surprised. And then 100% medical certification I spoke about earlier. And now we have what we call the emergency response team. It's good to have first aid facility in place and all that, but we have to train some people to make sure that we identify a set of people, we ensure they are trained. The first aiders, they are trained on first aid level 2, the firefighter, they are trained on firefighting, so that they are trained for when there's an incident, every facility have one. So that when there's an incident, they're the one that champion that. And no, we don't wait till when there's an incident. Every quarter, every 3 months, every quarter, we drill scenarios. We do a fire drill, we do an incident drill to make sure this emergency response team, we drill their role. So they're not surprised or they don't know what to do when the incident really happened, even though we don't want it, but we are prepared. And talking of that, I'm going to now show you a case study of, it's good I've shown you how we're reporting, but how is this correlating to making our employees safe? How is this correlating to not injuring our employee? So I'm showing you now a case study of our Nigeria reporting rate. In this graph in here you see the blue line here is a trend of our Quest reporting rate. While this bar you're looking at here, the bar is showing our total recordable injury frequency, which means the number of injury over the total, over millions of man hours. So if you look at it, as our reporting rate is going up, we're becoming injury free. It's not just saying, it's been proven that the more you report, the more you are proactive on reporting, because we are turning our people to hazard hunters. We are turning them to incident hunters. So they hazardous incident hunters. So they hunt this incident before it happened. And because of that, our people are becoming injury free. Yes, we had one incident here and there, which we totally investigate and make sure it doesn't happen again. But as you look at the correlation, the more we're reporting, the lesser the injury frequencies. And I'm proud to tell you that since October 2019 to date, so Q2 is about ending, I don't have Q2 here, we've been injury-free in Nigeria for Schlumberger employees, both Schlumberger employees and contractors. We've been injury-free. The slight drop you see here was just at the beginning of the COVID pandemic. COVID, I think we had the first case in Nigeria towards the end of February in 2020. And by March, we're asking our employee to work from home. We had a temporary stop of work. Everybody worked from home before we put in some COVID preventive measures like face masks, social distancing. We mark our offices and make sure sanitizer station, wash hand stations before we allow key critical employees to start coming back to operation. So that was where we had that drop there. So with this tool, I believe you'll be able to see, like I said, the reporting tool is a great tool to have to ensure safety of our employees, to ensure we know where the hazards are and be able to address them. And this is when it will not result to incident. And talking of safety, we encourage people to report. We have what we call the Best Quest Reporter Awards for quality and quantity. I know looking at it, you're looking at it, there's no house here, there's no Rolls Royce, there's no Benz Jeep, but like I said, it's motivation. Some of these contractors, they are one of the key ones. They're not really knowledgeable of these things. When they look at this gift, it makes a lot of meaning to them. Even to put their names in Nigeria that these are the winners, it goes a long way for them. And because of that, they become the hunters for us in looking for this risk. I know my time is a bit fast spent, so I'm running this to a close by showing us again design for HSE. We consciously try to design for our employee safety. We design out or we utilize engineering controls to minimize hazard and risk in the early stage of our equipment preparation or even for product making. We make sure that we reduce costs as we redesign. So we take care of it during the manufacturing stage before it comes to the field. So what we do is we want fewer incidents with the products that manufacturing deliver to the field. So with that, we want a safer manufacturing, a safer field maintenance, we want a safer field operation. And talking of that, there's so many things we do consciously every day to make sure people are safe. So these two projects I'm going to show you here, they're Nigeria project that we did. So we had a tool one time, the radioactive densitometer that we used to measure our prop hands loading. No matter how small the sources are, it's still a risk. We'd rather not have it at all. So we engaged the engineering team. They manufactured a tool called Honor Blender that uses a technology that does not make use of radioactive sources for this operation. And with this, we're able to eradicate the densitometer using for this type of operation. Another one is when we had a chemical called M290 that is toxic to the environment, toxic to the fish. We engaged our research team. They look for a safer substitute chemical, which is called MI Safe Side. They look for a safer substitute, which is substitute it with. So we consciously are questioning some of the chemicals we're using today for a safer one to be replaced with. Another case study I'll show you. So this is not Nigeria, but it happened in Schlumberger. This tool here you're looking at is a workshop oven. So someone look at it like, okay, the kind of heat when you get close to this equipment, the kind of heat it radiates, the heat exposure and the burns. Someone can just be working unconsciously and put his or her hand and get burns. And they look at this, they have to go and engineer how that there is a way we can eliminate out this risk. So they had a railing that give some distance from the oven. In this way, you isolate people from the heat exposure and the incident that could happen from it. This is a very simple example. This last example I'm showing here, and simple as it is, it drives the message of safety home. It's a substitution. So here we have our ethanol that is an hazardous chemical which poses an HSE risk, but it's been frequently used, for inspection, daily cleaning, and maintenance. In fact, from records, they had it. So this is they had it that they've used 30 kg of ethanol per year for this particular operation. And what they look at it that okay, a kitchen wipes can actually do the same job. So they replace this with a kitchen wipes. So imagine that a 30 kg ethanol replaced with a non-hazardous kitchen wipes for the operation. So these are things I'm just trying to probe us here, to question situations, question hazardous acts. Don't just take it that this is where we've been doing it. There could be some other better way to ensure safety of our people. And in conclusion, I started by saying Schlumberger safe. So we preach Schlumberger safe because we say not just safe, but Schlumberger safe. We're not just saying our employees should be safe. We want the employees to be safe. We want the team he or she is working with to be safe. That's why we have that tool of observation and intervention. Don't look out for yourself only. Look out for your colleagues. Don't look out for yourself only when you're at work. When you're home, look out for your family. That's why we started seeing some of our employees coming that out of the training we are giving them, now they know they don't have a fire extinguisher in their house, they have a fire extinguisher. In fact, there was an incident that it was one of our employee fire extinguisher in the building that saved another apartment. They have fire extinguisher, they are safety conscious. We do a lot of safety conscious incidents here and there. So we're saying that we just don't want our people to be safe. We want them to be safe. We want this safety habit to show in us, wherever we go to the rig site, wherever we talk in situation like this, we want that safety habit to show in us. We are being known for safety, and this is what we stand for. And this is where I draw my presentation to a close. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ma. This has been an excellent presentation, knowledgeable, sharing your experience from the field with us. We highly appreciate your presentation. In summary, we can see that her presentation, yes, initially we didn't want generic, but her generic was not the kind of generic we've seen in the slides. She took us to a little bit background on what safety should be, Then she went on and gave us specific case study within Schlumberger, within the oil and gas industry. We can see that she had exposed us to the kind of chemicals that you commonly find in the field, and the steps that are taken to address them. And I think in summary of her presentation, I will say that the focus of safety, from what I've seen of safety in the oil and gas industry upstream, it appears to be actually focused on the human beings, on the manpower itself. It appears to be focused on that, which is excellent, because we have seen the correlation between people reporting incidences and having less number, which shows that for people to be reporting, they feel free, that they are not victimizing people. There are systems that have been put in place that are excellent. So thank you very much, Ma. At this point, before I allow people to speak, I'll read out the questions we have already in the chat. I have from my classmates, my friend, Engineer Simon Gondo. He too works in the oil and gas upstream too. This is question. Thanks, Madam, for making out time for this presentation. It is true that SLB is a world-class organization and great standard of safety you have presented. People are key to the organization, but also does the environment. Even though your topic doesn't include the environment, but may I ask how you manage the impact of your operations on environment and how you manage your chemical waste, including drilling fluid? And also, how do you demonstrate stewardship in this regard? Okay, I'll take one more question, Ma. The second question, which I want you take together. Somebody, Engineer Lassis Ayensola, says that, is there any relationship between insecurity and safety? I don't know if she's if this is within her realm of presentation, but I'll give her the leeway to say something. Mark, you can go ahead.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. That first question is really robust. It shows that it's an experienced person from the upstream. So what we do in terms of the effect on the environment. So I'll take you, I know this is not the full presentation on that, but we are conscious of our chemical hazard effect on environment. One of the key things we do is having secondary containment. Having secondary containment for our chemicals, our hazardous drilling fluid is a must in Schlumberger. So we have this MI circle session that deals with all drilling fluid and all that. So we have bond walls for our chemical tanks that we do integrity check on regularly. In fact, we just performed the bond wall integrity check at our One facility 2 weeks ago. What are we trying to say here? Just in case the tank leaks or the chemical we're storing there leaks, it doesn't get out, it gets into those bond wall, the secondary containment, so that the impact does not go into the environment. And it's in that secondary containment we contain the spill before it gets into the environment. That's one area we do. In terms of the disposal, we do not handle the disposal by ourselves, but we have a company that have been pre-qualified, we've checked their system, we've audited them, we award them the contract to take care of our chemical waste disposers. And we ensure they follow all the details, the requirement in terms of making sure these chemicals become non-hazardous before they are being put back into the environment. So we don't take care of our disposal ourselves. We have companies that does that, but we do not just leave it to them. We audit them. We make sure they are doing the right thing, because if the push comes to push, it gets back to us. So these are some of the ways we try to make sure we limit our impact on the environment. And again, it's talking about the stewardship. This is the way we're moving to now, having a sustainable future. There's so many things we're doing. In fact, our CEO is really pushing on this stewardship program, this sustainable future of the of energy industry. If I recall perfectly, our CEO objective is saying in 2030, it's 2020 or 2050, we want to be net zero hydrocarbons, something like that. But I'm just telling you that we have section that we are going into this fully. And some of the things we are doing in Nigeria as well, we are trying to cut on our electricity usage. We're going solar panel in some of our facilities. It's a project, it's a huge project that we are bringing in gradually that we're doing. We're consciously changing how taps to automatic taps, water wastage. So we're aligning in some of these key sustainability projects, and we're pushing to be in the forefront on this. I hope I really answered the question very well. Please let me know if it's not fully.
You did, Ma. You did, Ma. You did.
So
the next question, somebody was asking of the link between insecurity and safety.
Yes. So yeah, even health, safety, and environment, we try to make the security part of it a bit quiet in terms of the job role, but I take care of security too. Our security advisors report to me in Nigeria, and it's a tough one in Nigeria when it comes to that, especially in the area where we operate in. This is an area that's known for kidnapping. It's so let me not take us too much, how we tackle that. So it has a lot to do with it, because if we are not careful, our employee could be kidnapped, whether on the rig site or maybe on their way there. So, or even when they're on their own, like I say, Schlumberger safe, it's not just in our facility. So there are so many programs we're doing. First of all, when they're not in our facility, what we do a lot of security awareness programs. We're telling our employees, don't go out there. You can hardly. And if you see it today, please, we always tell people to report it. See an employee of Schlumberger outside wearing a Schlumberger logo dress on the street anyhow. This is part of our security awareness, because people just think once you wear it, you're on the top, you have big money, they can target you. What are we saying? We're telling our people to maintain low profile. We're consciously telling them some of the security measures to put in place to be safe. And also for people going to the field and all that, it costs us so much to ensure the safety of our employees. From using all these Nigeria forces to ensure their safety, to even using armored vehicle to ensure the safety of our employees. So it's related. It costs us so much, but we're not risking our employee on that. We're making sure we're putting mitigating measures to ensure they're safe, even in the environment, because we still need to operate and we're not going anywhere. We've been here for over 50 years and we're here to stay.
Thank you very much, Ma. I'll take more questions again. This is from Engineer Kabir Mohammed Kaura. Thanks, Madam. How many incident cases you recorded in your organization this year and 2020? The incidents, was it work related or non-work related? I think her data presented that, but I'm sure she would say it again. And his second question is, please, can you elaborate on how you carry out safety audit in your organization? Oh, that's huge. That would take probably days to give a talk on that. But I'm sure she will briefly give us 1 or 2 steps on that. Then I have a question from Engineer Awojok Ojile. So what precaution have you put in place to safeguard radioactive sources exposure to personnel? Any training for contractors handling isotopes? That's from Engineer Ojile. I think let me allow you to take these questions.
Okay. Yeah, so like you said, we had 2 incidents, but they're not work related. We report all incidents. And the reason why to bottom me that they're not work related, I'm not just saying this. You can see that even though we have 2 recordable incidents, but in the graph, when you're talking about injury, there's 0 injury. So this incident, one of them I mentioned is the water heater. The second one, I'm trying to recall. It's a facility related, it's an equipment, it's an asset related incident. Yes. So I believe I answered that. So on radiation, we're doing everything possible to make sure our people are safe. First of all, the exposure they have to those sources, they are the minimal. We have a survey meter that's always measuring the level of our radioactive sources wherever they are. So they're within allowed limits. Also, we have wherever it's sourced, there's a protective guard there. It's a locked place. It's not open to everyone. So we have a radiation safety officers for each business line that uses those kind of sources. And he's the one, and everyone that have been certified are the one that can open those places to do the task. And also they have dosimeter. In fact, we use 2 dosimeter in Schlumberger. We have the Schlumberger standard one that we are not going to compromise. We're using that. Also, the Nigeria NNRA has a Nigeria dosimeter we're supposed to use. So we're using the Nigeria one and we're using the Schlumberger one. So we have 2 dosimeters that we regularly read to make sure we are within what is allowed. Our survey meter is always functioning. Our people are trained to do what they're doing. And even though I'm not a radiation expert, if you want our expert to come and say something about it, he will. But I deal with NRA in Abuja as well when it comes to some of our certifications and annual certifications with them. So we're within what we're allowed to do in terms of operation. And like I showed you an example earlier, we're going as much as possible to eradicate some of these equipment. You know, engineering, they're still trying to research as much as possible to make it, if possible, a zero radiation operation for us in Nigeria. But you know that some of these tools is needed, except we have an R&D that will be able to replace some of this technology in order to take them away. But we are protecting them, we are measuring them, we're not exposing our people, and we're consciously taking care of what we need to do.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. I will take the question of Engineer Husseini Babawuro Usman. He said, "Thank you, madam. What are the safety measures, guidelines for working in confined space?" He says, that's his questions. What are the safety measure guidelines for working in confined space? Then we have Engineer Lasisi Ayonsola says, within a space of 2 weeks, we've had PMS truck explosion at Idioroko, LPG truck explosion at Maryland, Lagos, and another one this week at Kara Market, Lagos. We have FRC on our roads and safety officers at our depots. How do we reduce loss of lives as a result of these incidents? These incidents give me nightmare.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, I think I have 3 questions. I think I have 3 questions. That was first one. I've not answered yet on the audit.
Yes.
Honestly, it's not something I can answer here. Audit is a robust tool. You know, you have to have the key templates to know what you're looking for. The process has to have a system, because what you're looking for, you need to make sure you've already designed your process in a way that as you are doing your daily operation, those things are being done. So when you're coming from audit, it's not like you're just producing those processes. There are things you are doing regularly that they are coming to audit. So it's a complete system that I believe it cannot be answered straight like that. On the confined space as well. So as you can see in my profile, I became HSC 18 months ago. I cannot be expert in all the key things, but let me give you something. For every hazardous task, there's a policy, there's a procedure that you have to make sure you are fully aware of if you are assigned to it. Now you're talking of a confined space. We actually have one that's supposed to start in about 2 weeks. We're trying to demobilize some tanks, which we go in there as a confined space case, right? I may not be able to give you the technicality you're looking for in terms of technicality, but I believe there's so many things involved, like the oxygen level. You should be able to be monitoring it while it's going on. The person in there must be a tool that should be able to take that person out in a space of seconds. There's so many more. There's so many more. I can't share that policies, but there are policies for confined space. If you are going to be taking up those kind of tasks, make sure you are fully aware of those as the hazard and address them. Unfortunately, I had a friend of mine actually lost his life in a confined space situation in one of the breweries in the country, which I'm not going to mention name. So it's a big risk that you have to make sure we address. Now, the last question on the tanker. We're all taken back in that. And unfortunately, I lost an uncle 2 weeks ago to the explosion tanker at Ijiroko. So it affects me. And I'll tell you, this is what I believe that's happening. Our trucks on the road are not fit. The trucks, the trailers, they are not fit. And especially now that the dollar rate is really high, we all know a lot of our vehicles parts, in fact, all of our vehicles parts are imported. And we're talking of dollars here. So it means the brake system, probably they're buying at 50,000 naira before, is now 80,000. So they are cutting corners. Our Nigerians want to make profit by all means. They are cutting corners. I stopped a job in our facility about a few days ago. We have one of our expatriates that is moving out of the country, and they brought a 40-foot container to pack his luggage, but I couldn't allow that container into our facility. How can we have a truck on the road without brake lights, without headlights, a 40-foot container? Then what would the person coming behind, what is the person going to see at night to know this is a container on the road? We are cutting corners. If the agency can do their job to make sure the trucks that are not fit are not on the road, these incidences will be reduced. And also, of course, we know the state of our roads. The state of our roads, unfortunately. So I'm opportunity to leave, like I said earlier, in my HR role, I was in the US for 4 years, at least living there, not even a matter of vacation. I knew what their road looks like, the state of our roads. And of course, that's result on the wear and tear on the truck as well, which means it needs to be more maintained, and they're not being maintained. And talk like again, you might have to link some of them to the competencies of the drivers and the state of the mind of the drivers when they are driving. Are they alcohol free? Majority of these drivers drink all sorts before they drive. So there's so many factors. There's so many factors, and it's unfortunate is lives we are losing here, irreplaceable lives. I really wish our people can wake up to the call. It's not about the profit. Like I said, when I was asking the question on security, it cost us a lot to ensure our employees are safe. Armored vehicles are not cheap. Having security officer to go along with your employee when they are going on a job is not cheap. It's cutting into our profits, but we'd rather make our people safe. So when we started valuing life in this country, it's to go a very long way. It's all about the profits. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. And on behalf of Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers, please accept our condolences on the loss of your uncle in this terrible incident. In fact, last month, we had a speaker from the major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, comprising of the key players in the sector. He gave us a talk. The man in charge of the HS, he gave us a talk. And the picture he painted for us there again, you find out that the bulk of the trucks now appears not to be even be under the control of the major marketers. They are under the control of the independent marketers, because from the data he gave us from the major marketers, it appears you have very little incidences from them, but mostly from the independent major marketers, where you have safety measures not being implemented. So of course, we know that we have institutional problems. Even the country, there are no people really guiding and making sure the right things are done. Then I have the final question from the past president of Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineer, my teacher, my mentor, Professor Sam Adefila. So with respect to radioactivity, do you have anything to say about the incoming 5G telecommunication system? Then I have my own question, my own personal question to round up the questions from the chat. Then somebody wants to speak too. I can see that you talked about R&D in addressing some of the challenges you have, especially with the chemicals and some of the issues you have. Are your R&Ds, are they domiciled in Nigeria? Do you try to, because I'm from the university. For me, I'm interested in R&D in the environment. I believe, I don't know if some of these R&Ds are being done in Nigeria. So 2 questions, Ma.
Thank you, sir. Immediately when you talk about prof, I know that, okay, will I have the expertise for this prof question? So actually for 5G, I do not have the expertise. I will not speak of what I don't know, sir.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert in that.
It's
I
all
don't
right.
know much about it.
Yeah.
And on the R&D, yes, the truth is most of our R&Ds are done in it's the locations where we have the manufacturing and centers. Some of them are in China, they're in the US, they're in Mexico. But that does not mean it's a zero room for Nigeria environment. There could be some potential for Nigeria environment because we have, again, back to stewardship there. When it comes to, we have some stewardship mandate as well. So there could be room for some R&D with some of the universities in the country. There could be.
I just hope that will be encouraging the oil and gas industry. Some of these R&Ds must be based on national interest. Some of them should be domesticated within our institutions in Nigeria to address some of these issues. Then I will now give Engineer Yunus AG raise his hand up. Engineer Yunus AG, can you unmute yourself quickly? Your question, please, quickly, briefly. We're running out of time.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I'm sorry I have to use this medium. I would not have loved to, because I can see a lot of questions have been asked. What I want to ask, Madam, thank you for the presentation. There's one specific thing that caught my attention, because when you have a PPE, it is expected to protect you from hazards and a lot of hazardous materials because of your activities in the oil and gas sector. And I understand that every year you change the PPEs. So what do you do to the PPEs you change? What do you do to them?
Okay, thank you very much.
That is one. Then on the issue of disposal of hazardous material that one of our colleagues asked, you don't have the facility for sand disposal, and some companies are recruited to do that for you. Do you find out if they actually have technology for sand disposal of those materials, particularly the cutting fluid and all those? The cutting fluid may contain heavy metals and all those things. Then on the issue of safety and security that somebody asked, I'm not speaking the person's mind, but you know, there's a thin line between what we call chemical safety and chemical security. You have hazardous materials on your premises. Those hazardous materials can be turned to weapons. You understand what I'm saying, ma? So probably that's the question he was trying to ask, not about people being kidnapped, but I think the time is too short to discuss that. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Adelebolaji. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so thank you. Yeah, I'll quickly, in fact, the third one is really important. I need to make sure I answer that on the chemical and the security. So we do that, we make sure we have access control to our inventories, to our chemicals, especially the hazardous one. Apart from chemicals, radiation, explosive, we deal with a lot of things that ministry are fully with us. They know what we're doing. They've checked these measures in place. We do with we have access controls. In fact, we tighten access control based on how dangerous some of these chemicals are. And we ensure inventory control as well. We must know if 30 is out of it in terms of gallon, that 30 gallon is used so client, and it has been ticketed for this type of well. None must miss. So we have a very controlled system for that, even inventory and even for access. We spend so much on security, apart from the normal guard, army forces and all that. So we have control. We make sure we control them because it's key. And even apart from Schlumberger Nigeria, we get audited on that from outside. So those are some of the key things that the company does not take for granted. We monitor them even from outside. They monitor us when it comes to all those to make sure that we are following everything critically. Because like, if any sanction comes to Schlumberger Nigeria today, it's not just Schlumberger Nigeria, it goes on our record international wise. So we don't compromise that when it comes to that. Thank you so much, sir, for allowing me to shed more light on that. The other question is, I think I forgot. Please. Oh, the disposal company. Like I stated, we do not just give any company A and B our job to be done. We make sure they are competent companies. We know what they are capable of. We have what called the technical bid before the commercial bid. We look at their technical bid with the technical capability, and we make sure they are capable of it, and we audit them. Because if they do anything, it comes back to us. So we audit them and make sure they are doing what they are supposed to do. Apart from that, I do quarterly review with some of those key HSE related companies that work for us. So we're not just giving A and B job. We based on technical and experience in the industry. That's what we do. Thank you, sir. And I think there's another one.
I think I missed it too. Engineer,
sorry, sir, can you please?
That's the PPE. The PPE you change every year.
PPE, yes. Yes.
Because they must have been contaminated because of the hazardous environment where they are used. Yes, thank you.
So for
yes, sir,
please,
thank you so much, I don't like taking too much time. What I said is there's a difference between a hazardous waste transporter and a hazardous waste disposal facility. Moving it away from your facility is different from disposing of it sandly. Most of the materials you generate within your facility are things that we hardly have capacity to manage in Nigeria. So taking it away, like out of sight, that's not what I'm saying. So do they have the facility to sandly dispose? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So yes, and I meant yes, because when the Ministry of Environment comes to audit us, they don't audit us based on we saying this has been given to this company to handle for us. We take back reports from them on how it was being managed and being disposed. We have the reports, and it's those reports the Ministry of Environment audits with us to make sure it's done rightly and correctly. So the answer is yes, sir. And on PPE, so really when we give them PPE, we are not saying bring back your boots, take this boot back, right? So at some point in time, some people can have two boots functioning at the same time, but if the boot is already bad, it's not being protective again, then they dispose of in an hazardous way. And same with the coverall. And again, let me mention, it's not all our employees that is exposed to chemicals, right? We have some people that maybe all they are doing is just workshop maintenances that are not even, they're just tools, right? So the ones that are hazardous PPEs are disposed of with hazardous, because we have different waste segregation, right? We have hazardous disposals. So those ones are disposed of hazardously. And that's how we take care of that. Thank you very much. I hope I answered that, sir.
You did, ma. Thank you very, very much, ma. Once again, I'm thanking you so much for your time and for sharing your experience, your expertise with us on behalf of Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers, HSE Sectoral Group. I will, if no other question at this point, because we have passed 6:30 it's now even 6:40, I will hand over to the lead, HSE, Nigerian Society of Engineers, my boss, Engineer Mahmoud Abubakar, to wrap up, to close, vote of thanks and to close the event. Engineer Mahmoud, over to you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Atta. Ms. Omolara Ibikunle, we
Yes, sir.
are very proud to have you today.
Thank you.
Talking with you, the quality, your exposure, your experience, and the position you are holding, Schlumberger is arguably the largest oil servicing company in the world. It's debatable, but I think it will be one of the largest. And with your experience across different cultures and exposure in many fields, this is the type of quality we expect to attract to this platform in order to enable us achieve the objectives we set up for ourselves. We are very proud of you. We are very proud of your presentation. It's very educative, and I'm very sure participants will have many take-homes from this session today. You can see, based on the range of the questions that are being thrown at you, it's clearly stated in your profile that you are a HSE manager, but you had to answer questions on environment, questions on security, even questions on things that are happening on the road. That shows the interest the participants have in your presentation and how eloquent it was presented. Thank you very much. The key take home that I think everyone should take away from here, from this presentation today, employers should create a conducive environment for employees to express themselves freely with respect to HSE. Because if people don't feel free to discuss the problems they are having, the hazards they assess, and what they are going through, whatever measures, whatever safeguards that are put in place will definitely fail. Because the person that is performing the work is putting those processes and procedures to test. And that's why it is very important to have that openness in the workspace. So I think we'll be able to take this back to our organizations, because there are some areas, particularly when it comes to audit, you don't audit a human being, you don't audit the individual, you try to audit the process, the system, looking for what has gone wrong or not who has done wrong. So this is a key take home. The second one, and I will stop with this, there are many, but this actually touched, they are very important, the importance of collaboration. Safety affects everybody. Safety does not stay with a particular organization. You see the question, the issue Lasisi brought up, a tanker exploding on the road. We don't know who owns the tanker, who owns the product the tanker is carrying, where it is being taken to, who the driver is. But when an incident happens, it affects everyone. And in your presentation, you did mention the collaboration you are doing with other players in the oil and gas sector. So without collaboration, learning from experiences across board, it will be very difficult to improve safety performance. It's not something that can be done in a silo. We are very happy for everyone for coming here today. The participants, our objectives, like I say always, is to have a platform, to create a platform that will be the foremost in Africa, where practitioners in safety, particularly in process safety, will be able to share their experiences freely and openly without any hindrance. That's the mission we've set for ourselves, and we'll continue to try our best to attract the type of quality Omolara showed display today to this platform. There are questions with respect to environment. I'm just thinking probably we'll look for the environment manager, the person that is coordinating environmental safeguards in either the same Schlumberger or another oil servicing company to be able to close those gaps and answer some of the questions that were thrown up at us. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Atta, you and your team are doing a wonderful job. The group is very proud of you, as well as the NSChE leadership. Our past president, Professor S.S. Adefla, is here, and the entire leadership of NSChE is very proud of the job we are doing. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you all. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, everybody. And I want to give a special thanks to Engineer Misura. She was the one that got this big fish for us today, that gave us a presentation today, Engineer Omolara. Thank you, Engineer Misura. That is what we want. For others that have contacts with other people that can give us talks like this, please feel free to get in touch with us for them to give us presentation. On behalf of Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers, HSE, we thank you all for your time. Thank you, Ma, and thank you, everybody. We'll see you end of next month by God's grace. Have a nice weekend.
You too. Engineer Mahmoud, are you sharing this presentation with all the participants?